Hi, I'm Jess from Film Do, and I'm here with Monique Washington and Aisha Clarke, and we're going to talk about their film Brexit Unveiled, which explores the rise in hate crimes towards Muslim women post-Brexit.
Whatever color, race, gender, sexuality you are, the people that are gonna love, and people that are gonna hate regardless of anything.
Obviously, post-Brexit, it went up by 57%, the amount of hate crimes. So from your experience, I mean, why do you think that is?
I think, unfortunately, Brexit, some people misinterpreted the campaign, and I think they used that as an opportunity to sort of green light their maybe racist sentiments which they had beforehand. And also, if you look at a lot of the key individuals and who was getting a lot of airtime and a lot of coverage by the mainstream media, it was usually the people on the more extreme side of the debate. Regardless of whether someone voted for Brexit or not, we're not here to pass judgment on that particular political choice. It's more in regards to the rhetoric of the campaign and the rhetoric of like the Leave campaigners especially.
So why do you think there is an increase in hate crimes, particularly against Muslim women, specifically, rather than, I mean, obviously there's hate crimes towards men too, but we've seen a rise in your film deals with women specifically.
Well, first and foremost, women are more visible. Like you can, if they wear hijab, it's quite easy to identify them as being a Muslim, whereas a man, unless he might be going to mosque in certain clothes, in his day-to-day lives you might not be able to visibly tell he's a Muslim straight away. Where I think women, if they wear hijab, it's very easy to identify them. And also I think there is something where women are perceived as to be more vulnerable, so more likely to be easier targets, which is very unfortunate, but this is the reality of the world we live in. I definitely think Muslim women are incredibly strong, but I just do think with women generally, not just Muslim women, there is a perception that we are, a bit weaker, but I don't think it's true. I disagree 110%, but I think there is that perception.
So there's racial and religious issues, but also kind of general patriarchy as well, really.
Definitely.
And is this something that you'd, come across through, friends or in your kind of personal connections, or is it something that you went out and found, outside of your community?
I think for me it was a mixture of the two. So, living in London, like in a very multicultural city, I have friends from all walks of life, so it was, a personal connection. And also the attacks against the previous NUS president as well. Because she was the first Muslim first Muslim individual to be elected as the NUS president. So sort of a mixture of, hearing a bit about it through other people and then my own personal connections.
And I actually, linking on from that, we was also saying at the panel discussion that we was on, us being people of colour and we've created this film shows the potential. It's not like we're going to create a film just to focus on, let's say for example, our culture, but obviously we've proven that we can actually focus on another area. I feel like they need to push platforms for people of colour, and not just people of colour, like Muslims, I'm pretty sure there's loads of disabilities in general, but we obviously focused on this one area.
And not just like in front of the camera, behind the camera, in other careers, like such as government civil service, like all these things where really the power, like people who make the decisions, that's what I think really needs to change. And I mean, you have prevent legislation in universities, and I think there is a general misunderstanding, and you have the horrific mosque attack in Trinity Park, and I think that actually there needs to be a wake-up call that you can't persecute a whole group of people just on the actions of a very few. So I think there does need to be more of a conversation, and I think there needs to be action as well. And I think we need to do something.
Absolutely. I mean, representation in the media is so crucial. So what you guys are doing is absolutely amazing.
We're trying to break the boundaries. We're not trying to follow, let's say for example, like companies like BBC and ITV, they're very restricted to a specific type of way. If you look at, you can tell that BBC have made this, you can tell that ITV has made this. Do you know what I mean? We're trying to break boundaries. We're not trying to go by the mainstream. We're trying to do real life. It's just real life documentary.
A lady standing by my breakup piece, and she asked me, we were talking about it, and she seemed quite calm, quite nice.
So you didn't know Yasmin before?
No.
So tell us a bit about her.
So she's an artist, and she uses both visual art as well as media and videos. So she's a Muslim herself. Well, that's her cultural background, but she doesn't wear hijab. But she wanted to explore the impact of wearing a veil on a woman's everyday life in Britain. So she had an art piece exhibition at her at her university, and she also created this lovely video of different women wearing a veil, and just seeing how are they treated differently, what are the reactions to them. So it was a really lovely piece, but unfortunately she was the victim of a hate crime at her exhibition. So that was really the catalyst for when we thought she'd be an amazing person to interview and just hear her side of the story.
So you mentioned Global Girl Media. So what do they do? Who are they, and how did you get involved?
So Global Girl Media, again, is an organisation that aims to focus on young girls from the ages like, let's say 14 up until like mid-20s. And they obviously train you in terms of documentary filmmaking, journalism. They teach you how to write, they teach you how to research, and all these skills. It's not like a one-day thing. You actually take it with you.
And is it an all-female organisation?
Yeah, so it's an all-female organisation, which I actually think is one of the best characteristics of GGM. Just being around a group of girls and being able to talk about issues that maybe you're sometimes not comfortable talking about in front of guys. And also it's just creating a space where actually, you know, if we look at the media today, women are represented in front of the cameras, but behind the scenes, editors, camera operators, it does tend to be very much male dominated, and also on top of that, very white males as well. So I think that to be in a space where it's females on every aspect of the production, you are actually getting a different point of view. You're getting a very different film, I personally think.
So what's next for you guys?
What do you mean in terms of
Filmmaking.
I'll leave it as a surprise.
Oh, okay.
So I'm currently interning at The Guardian, and I just want to get as much experience as possible. I want to keep making incredible films. I want to make it about topics that I'm really passionate about, and I actually want to do something next on Afro-Caribbean hair. That's what I'm doing.
Cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.